Jesus did the same thing in the Garden of Gethsemane. When the adversary, by the way, the adversary was always working for God. It was never separate from God. There's no anything separate from the divine presence. The adversary was playing with Jesus' mind, saying, well, if you're the Son of God, why don't you turn the stones to bread? You're hungry, aren't you? If you can't even save yourself, look at you. You healed all those people, and look at you, you can't even heal yourself. And Jesus said, get behind thee, O matador. It is written, thou shalt worship the Lord thy God, and only it shall you serve. In that moment, you know, Jesus was no longer Jesus. He became a man no longer, but one with Christ. Buddha was sitting underneath a Bodhi tree, and everything that he was working on, every little devil with the red dress on, came to show itself to him. You know, all the different forms of things that tempt us. He just kept looking at it, breathing with it, putting his hand on the floor and saying, as for me and my house, I shall worship the divine presence of oneness. And when he stood up, he wasn't Sid Arthur anymore. He was the Buddha, the one who is awake. This is our journey. You feel like this is what we're to be doing. This is what our life's about, to bring awareness to this, no outside, it's inside the red cave issues and tissues. When you deal with them internally, you're less likely to have to express them out externally. And one thing I didn't bring up at the first service, you guys get the benefit of the teaching at the second service, was that it's also good to be aware of when you're flailing the red cave at other people. I'm real good at knowing how to get Maureen. I know just what to say to make her come charging out of her centeredness. Oh, you feel spiritual today, do you, Mr. Spiritual? Well, change your diapers and get off your butt and let's get some life going here. Come on over here. Come on over here. And there's a juice to that. There's an excitement to that. A part of your ego, when you're not feeling that good with yourself, likes to get other people wrapped up in your drama. Just to be aware, oh, look what I'm doing again. In the presence of these teachings, in the presence of what you are, you're so much bigger than any of those things. And then what happens, and I just got this vision, is that in the light of a Dalai Lama, in the light of a Jesus or a Buddha or a Viktor Frankl, in the light of something so big like that, basically the matador just decides to leave you alone. Don't you love a day like that? When you're left alone, nothing to charge into. And then what happens is you begin to see this as part of you. And you throw the cape around you and say, I'm doing my internal work. And then you become the cape crusader for others. Yes, because you awake to who you are. And then you fly through your day more powerful than a locomotive. I won't go there. But this is the gift of our teachings and our practices. They allow us not to put anything outside of ourselves that we're not willing to look at internally inside of ourselves. That's the gift of a good meditational practice. And another little hint about what this looks like, and we can lower the lights now, came from an 11-year-old girl who blessed Maureen and I this week with an experience of her 7 minutes and 16 seconds in meditation. Can we turn these lights off too up on top?
So, what did you want to tell me about meditation?
I was listening to that music right over there. And you can hear it right now, so I was doing it and I was talking to my best friend Avery. And for 7 minutes and 16 seconds exact, I was meditating. And it felt so good on the inside. I heard beautiful angels and saw them. I walked into a room to the next one. And it was so amazing, such amazing light flowing in, and there's no feeling to explain it. It's just peace, and it's peace and not peace, and good and bad. It's unexplainable. No, it's not bad, but it's not good either. It's right in between everything.
Okay. And did you feel safe?
Way. I was being hugged. It was so peaceful. I loved it.
And what were your thoughts going on in your mind?
I had none.
Oh, wow. Just the music was in your mind?
Just the music and me.
And what was the visual? What did you see in your mind's eye?
What did I see? I walked into a room, I slid down a slide, and the pool exploded with God's love and amazement.
And you stayed there for 7 minutes?
Yes, it was so peaceful.
Why? You took a fantasy meditation.
It wasn't fantasy, it was real, it was non-fiction, it was amazing.
Can you get there again, like if we did it together? Is this the song?
Well, yes, but only if we could stay in a quiet room.
Okay.
It doesn't matter if it's dark or light, just shut your eyes.
Shut your eyes.
And smile and think of it, cross your legs, put your hands like this on your knees, and
What does that mean? Where'd you learn that?
my mom taught me.
Oh, really? I taught you that? I never saw that one. So you put your hands on your knees.
Shut your eyes, and sometimes you can't help smiling when you think of God.
No, it wasn't a fantasy. I love that line when she says that. It was real. It was more real than anything that's going on in this crazy world we live in. It was unbelievable. It was so sweet. It was so beautiful. It was like returning to something that I've known my whole life, and now I'm back in the awareness of it. She goes on to describe, it was like, you know when Daddy goes away for a long time and then he comes back and we've really missed him? It was like that, but 100 times stronger than that. It was like coming back to my papa, to my daddy, and feeling a love that I'm connected to that's so powerful, so beautiful, and so real. It's so amazing to be in the presence of that. And that's the gift of the eyes of innocence that you and I can return to. This is where our practice of meditation is leaning us towards, that kind of awareness of being showered by the blessing of spirit, of going down the great slide into the beautiful pool of God's infinite love and wisdom. It's your birthright. It's what we come from. It's what we fall asleep to. It's what we need to awaken to again. So let's look for a moment, I'm sorry, at the lesson summation. I'm making you put that screen up and down, up and down. It's a good screen though, isn't it? Prayer and meditation open our insight, our intuition, and our conscious awareness of the divine presence within us. Through daily practice, we reconnect to this presence. This is our inner work. What was done with ease by some of our great teachers and masters, remember, was first practiced with what? Great diligence. Diligence. So don't put this one off. When the matador waves the red cape at you, and I know she's just waiting for you right outside the door. You know what I'm talking about. And when you're waving the red cape at someone else, be aware that you're doing that just to get a little attention and choose. There are better ways to get attention than that. When that happens, remain calm and peaceful. Gather yourself so we can respond rather than react to the situation. Meditation turns up the fire of the Holy Spirit within us. It allows us to melt crystallized thought patterns so we can breathe more deeply and live more fully. Every time the heater goes on, I'm reminded of my practice. Releasing everything unlike itself, melting those patterns so we can breathe again and be more fully alive again. Remember the advice of our young angelic teacher. Meditate every day so you can slide into the pool of God's infinite love and wisdom. And then when you do, then all the negativity and all the fear and all the red cape issues and tissues that keep us warring with each other, they just sort of become your friend that you take with you wherever you go. And you just put it up under your arm, and you know it's going to happen again. The tissues and issues are going to happen. The cape's going to drop again. You're going to flail at somebody else. They're going to wail at you, but you're not quite so caught up in it. And when you remain present with something greater than that, then you can take this lovely gift of passion and energy that these things are a part of and not get rid of them, but compassionately share them with the ones you love the most. As for me and my house, I will serve the living truth. May we awaken to our Querencia together, stand tall in the practices of the truth that set us free. Namaste.